The movie opens up in Los Angeles. Someone is cutting a fence wire when a security guard drives up. We see a man called Lois Bloom talking with a security guard. Then suddenly he attacks the guard, steals his watch, and drives off. Lewis takes the fence wire along with some other metal things to a scrap metal yard to sell them. He tries to get a job at the yard, but the foreman tells him he doesn't hire thieves. As Lewis is driving along a freeway, he sees a car that's crashed and two policemen trying to help a woman inside. Then a news team van pulls up and two men named Joe and Marcus rush to the scene to film the accident. When they are finished, Lewis approaches one of the cameramen and asks which channel he works for. He responds that he will sell the footage to whichever channel pays the most. Lewis is intrigued and tries to ask more questions, but Joe receives a call about another incident and leaves. Upon returning home, Lewis continues to think about what he saw earlier. He then turns on the television and begins flipping through different channels. He finally sees the accident video on one of the news channels. The next day, Lewis steals a road bike and takes it to a pawn shop. He then exchanges it for a camera and a radio interceptor. Now it's nighttime and Lewis is parked in his car listening to the police station. Dispatcher calls. He drives to the scene of one of the calls. When he arrives, he begins filming a man who has been attacked by a carjacker and is seriously injured. But he gets so close to the scene that the cops are forced to dismiss all the cameramen. As a result, Joe becomes enraged and scolds him for disrupting his work. Lewis takes his video footage to a local news station known as KW and shows it to the news editor named Nina and her assistant named Frank. Nina then pays him $250 for his footage. He then inquires about any job or internship opportunities available to him, but Nina declines. Instead, she advises him to keep filming such footage and bringing it to her. She states that the most fascinating thing to observe is when a wealthy white person is the victim of an assault. Later, Lou returns home and sees his footage on television, which makes him very proud. In the morning, we see him at a restaurant waiting for someone. It turns out he's interviewing a young man named Eric for the position of his assistant to the guy seen arrive. And it becomes evident that he's struggling financially and has no prior experience in this field. Still, they negotiate for a while, and Lou agrees to pay him a small amount of $30 per night in the evening. The duo listens to the police radio in their car when they hear about an accident. Lou instructs Rick to read aloud the directions as he drives. He then begins driving like a madman, making Rick nervous and causing him to give incorrect directions. As a result, they arrive at the scene 5 minutes late after another cameraman has already captured the footage and the victim has been taken away by the ambulance. Lou becomes enraged by this and scolds Rick for his mistake. Shortly after they learn about another incident and manage to reach there just in time, they discover that a robbery has occurred at a house. But there's nothing interesting to record. So while the cops are distracted, Lou sneaks inside the house. He searches through the kitchen and eventually finds bullet holes in the refrigerator. He takes pictures and rearranges family photos to include the bullet holes in a single frame. He then secretly records the victim couple who are talking to the cops afterwards. Lou shows the footage to Nina, who is very impressed since they are the only ones with the victims' real faces. She is confident their ratings will skyrocket, and her colleague is not thrilled with the idea and argues that it's trespassing. However, Nina dismisses his concern and praises Lou for a job well done. Over the next few days, Lou and Rick capture a lot of new footage of horrifying incidents. Lou continues to sell them to Nina and manages to earn a significant amount of money with his earnings. He upgrades his equipment and buys a faster car for work. One night, Lou arrives at a car accident scene to get a scoop. While the driver is distracted, he approaches a dead body in the distance and takes some videos. He even moves the body to a spot illuminated by headlights so that he can get better pictures. Later, he shows the footage to Nina, who is once again impressed after she has a missed payment. Lou seizes the opportunity to ask her out on a date. Although Nina appears to like him, she refuses, stating that she prefers to keep their relationship professional. But in the next scene, we see that Lou has managed to secure a date with Nina at a restaurant. He asks her to be his lover, but she says it is only a courtesy date. Lou then reminds her that her station had the lowest ratings in the area before he began selling his videos. He threatens her, stating that if she does not accept his terms, he will stop selling his footage to her. Seeing his new attitude, Nina is shocked and has no choice but to comply with his demands. The next day, there's a plane crash in the area, but when Lou arrives, he discovers that someone has already captured all the footage. Disappointed, he manages to shoot only a few random clips and later presents them to Nina. She gets enraged at him and chastises him for failing to capture the exclusive videos. A frustrated Lou then returns home and screams in front of his mirror before smashing it. He later learns from the news that it was Joe who captured the footage first in a fit of rage. Lou rushes to the house and sabotages his van's brakes. Soon after, when Joe leaves for work, is involved in a horrible car accident. Rick and Lou immediately rush to the scene, and the latter begins filming his competitor choking to death. That makes Rick very uneasy, and he asks Lou to stop. However, the crazy man dismisses his concerns, insisting that they need to do their job. A few days later, Lou intercepts a police radio report of a shooting at a wealthy house. He rushes to the scene before the cops arrive and captures footage of two criminals fleeing in their car. Lou then sneaks inside the house where there are a lot of dead bodies. He begins filming them from different angles with excitement. Lou also films an empty baby's crib, hoping it will create a sense of anxiety among viewers. Soon after, he comes across a victim who is still alive and gasping for breath. However, instead of offering help, Lou proceeds to film him, and he soon hears the sound of police sirens, so he quickly runs away from there. In the next scene, Lou visits the TV station and shows Nina the exclusive footage. The other employee argues that broadcasting such footage is unethical, but she doesn't seem to care. Lou then requests a large sum of money. She eventually agrees to pay him a whopping $15,000. But Lou is not satisfied with just this and begins to outline his conditions. He insists that he will not negotiate again and that she must pay him whatever he demands. He also requests that his company's name video production news be included in the subtitles during TV broadcasts. Furthermore, he demands that Nina introduce him to all of her employees and even her superiors. Nina is confused by his forced demands, but she agrees to them because she does not want to risk losing her TRP. The next morning, Lou is watching his footage with satisfaction when there's a knock on his door. It turns out the detectives are suspicious of his involvement in the incidents. They request a copy of the video he shot, and Lou provides them with an edited version that excludes the fleeing criminals. He claims that he saw the criminals leaving, but doesn't have their footage. After the detectives leave, Lou looks off the criminals' license plate on the internet and finds one of their houses in the evening. He and Rick arrive at the location, and Lou shares his plan to stage an arrest and film it. Rick is terrified to hear this and refuses to put his life at risk. He mentions that Lou has been paying him $30 for months, which he finds unfair. Rick then demands an increase of $75 per night or threatens to report him to the police with no other choice. Lou reluctantly agrees to his condition, and shortly after they notice the criminals leaving the house and decide to follow them. The criminals soon enter a restaurant, and Lou takes the opportunity to contact the cops. He reports seeing two armed suspects in the restaurant and reveals that they're the same people who murdered a family last night. The duo then waits outside, ready to capture the moment when the criminals are arrested. After a while, the cops eventually show up, leading to a shootout between the two parties. Two innocent people are unfortunately killed in the crossfire. One of the criminals is also killed, but the other flees in his car. Lou then returns to his vehicle and starts driving while Rick continues to film the pursuing cops. A few minutes later, the criminal's vehicle crashes and overturns, bringing the chase to an end. Lou then parks his car nearby and begins filming the dead bodies. He invites Rick to join him outside, claiming that the criminal is dead. Rick happily agrees and starts filming the accident scene, but seconds later, he locks eyes with the criminal who is still alive and well. He immediately shoots Rick twice, causing him to collapse on the ground. The criminal then tries to flee, but is shot dead by the police. Moments later, while Rick is on the verge of death, Lou films him and coldly says that he had him murdered because of his blackmail. He believes Rick's demands for more money would have persisted over time. However, the poor boy responds that he was just bluffing and would never have followed through. He eventually succumbs to his injuries, while Lou captures a close-up of his face without the slightest of remorse. In the following scene, Lou presents the footage to Nina, who is once again delighted. The others at the TV station are horrified and say it is too much, but Nina disagrees. Later, as she prepares to broadcast the footage, 2 cops show up and demand the footage since it is crime evidence. But she refuses to hand it over, claiming that it belongs to her. Later, when a detective summons Lou, he voluntarily goes to the police station. A cop accuses him of withholding information and not revealing details about the criminals before. When asked why he was following them, Lou lies, saying that the criminal's car was chasing him. The detective accuses him of being a monster, mentioning how he had his own assistant killed and filmed his dying moments. Lou simply smiles and responds that it is his job. Although the cop is aware that he is lying, they lack evidence to charge him, so he is eventually released. In the final scene, we see that Lou has bought 2 vans and hired a team of 3 people to expand his business. He asserts that he won't pay them for now, but believes they will learn valuable skills throughout the process. And with a calm, calculated smile, he assures them that he'll never ask them to do anything he wouldn't do himself. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.